What is going on, guys? I am Septom Seer George, the coach of the San Francisco Arcaniners, here to bring you my Season 6 Week 2 match against John, aka Pokemon, coach of the New Orleans Pelippers. Now, this is a very important match, not just because it is a division match. I am in John's division. It's just the fact that it's John, and he knows how I play. I know how he plays. He's basically watched me grow up as a battler and everything like that, so it's really cool to get to be able to play him under the circumstances that we are in. Of course, it does also suck because there always has to be one winner, there has to be one loser. So let me go over his team. He brought the Gastrodon, the Granbull, the Escavalier, the Ryu Nicholas, the Mega Lopunny, and the Lando T. Now, immediately I'm thinking, no Bisharp, no Latios. And that is a huge relief to me because those two things were insanely powerful. Now, I expect him to want to lead off with his Mega Lopunny or his Landorus, and I just think, you know what, let's go with Mega Beedrill. And with Mega Beedrill, I can just go for a Protect right here. I don't want to do anything crazy. I don't want him to kill me first turn or anything like that. And what actually ends up happening is I go for the Protect, and he actually decides to go for the U-turn. And I don't know if he's trying to bluff right here that he was a Choice Scarf Landorus or anything like that. But I should have gone for Toxic Spikes right there now that I think about it. But too risky in fact. And I go for U-turn right here, revealing that he is not in fact Choice Scarf. That damage though means he is for sure offensive, not defensive. And I can just very safely go out into my Anaconda, which is my Milotic right here. Now he decides to actually go for Stealth Rocks on this turn. Very good play on his part, knowing that I had no way of dealing with him or just really touching him in general. So what he decides to do right here is to switch out, and I decide I'm just going to fire off a Dragon Tail just because I want to see what he goes out into. He decides to go into Blobby, and I get a crit. Judging by that damage, even with the crit, it's probably a defensive spread now that I think about it. And I Dragon Tail him out into Michelle Tyson. Now this is perfect for me because this is what Milotic is meant to counter, is this Mega Lopunny. So what he's going to do right here is just go for a Fake Out. I allow my Milotic to take the little bit of damage that it's going to take from this. Doesn't take much, but it takes a bit. And now I'm going to go for the rest. I don't care that I don't need to rest right now. I'm going to go for the rest because I know he's going to switch out. He's not going to stay in to take a Scald. He's going to switch out. I'm going to go for a rest. And now this thing is a defensive tank. This thing will switch in and tank the hits off Mega Lopunny every single time. I just need to get at my Toxic Spikes, and things like Gastrodon and Mega Lopunny can no longer wall me then. Or can no longer just freely spam hits. So right here, I decide to switch out. I don't want to take a hit off of the Gastrodon, so I decide to go into my Gardevoir. If he wants to go for Scald for some strange reason, I will trace the Storm Drain and get +1. However, that is not in fact what happens. He actually decides to double switch out and goes out into his Deli, which I believe is Escavalier. So fantastic double switch on John's part, really putting the momentum in his favor. But I do have Anaconda, and it is asleep, so its defenses are even higher, and he actually decides right now to go for the knockoff. So alternatively, I could have gone into Magneton. However, I did not want to take a Drill Run, and now I know for a fact he's not going to go for a Drill Run against my Milotic, especially after he saw that it was my switch-in. He might just want to go for a Mega Horn or another knockoff, I don't know. But I go into Magneton, and he actually just decides to switch out as well. And now right here, he's in Blobby, I'm in Magneton, and I Volt Switch. And I know he's not going to go for a Psychic-type move. Why on earth would he go for a Psychic-type move? He's going to go for a Focus Blast or a Shadow Ball or something like that. So I know I can go out into my Mega Beedrill, and this is the perfect opportunity for me to get at my Toxic Spikes. Why would he stay in versus my Mega Beedrill, and why would he not go into Landorus versus me? So what I decided to do is get up a layer of Toxic Spikes, which this layer of Toxic Spikes is going to be the most helpful layer of Toxic Spikes I have ever put up on the side of the field. You guys will see that these Toxic Spikes really do a lot of damage to his team. Now Landorus is in, and he U-turned out on me and went for Stealth Rocks. So what I decided to do is I decided to go for the Poison Jab. I could switch out and then switch back in, but I'd be on like 10 HP, and I would die to any single hit. I thought he would want a U-turn, to be honest, expecting my U-turn so he could get the switch initiative, or he would go for a double switch or something like that, but Turns out he just goes for an attack. I get a huge amount of damage off though with Poison Jump, so I don't mind. Go into my Tarzan right here, and he is going to reveal what the switching is going to be for Tarzan. And he goes into Blobby. And remember when I said this thing was physically defensive? Turns out I was pretty much correct, because he expected a Flare Blitz, I'm guessing, or an HP Ice or whatever, and I go for Fire Blast, get a crit, but with the Toxic, I still would have been able to 2-hit KO him, so not sure how much the crit really mattered, as well as the fact that he doesn't have a switch in to Special Infernape, because he does go into Gastrodon right here, and I go for the safe play and go for Fire Blast again, and you guys will see that this does a decent amount of damage to Gastrodon. That's not bad for a specially defensive Gastrodon, unless it's physically defensive. Even then, hitting a Gastrodon with a fire type move from the special side for that amount of damage is pretty nice. Now right here, I do have the Grass Knot. I almost want to click Stealth Rocks, because imagining he just wanted to switch around and get my Life Orb recoil, but I decided to make the safe play and go for Grass Knot against the Gastrodon. Pays off in the end because the Gastrodon dies. So, Infernape, we did lose Mega Beedrill a few turns ago, but we also now took out the Gastrodon, so that's a threat out of the way. He goes into Mega Lopunny. I know I can't take a Fake Out, but I know he's Toxic, so on this turn, I know he's going to Fake Out, not return, so I am going to go into my Latias just so I can absorb the hit, give him Rocky Helmet, and then he will also take the Toxic damage. So he goes for Fake Out right here, get to take 16% from the Rocky Helmet, which is nice. Then it's the end of the turn. He's going to take 12% more from the Toxic. So that is a lot of damage off in one turn on the Mega Lopunny. So now I know he's going to switch, but I don't really have another play other than go for Recover right here. The whole point of this Mega Latias set is just so I can bring it in on the physical hitters, take a hit, go for Reflective, which I can still do against the likes of a Scavalier, etc. And stuff like that. But here, I decided to switch out. I know he has the Shadow Ball. I decided to go out into the crowd, which is my Magneton right now, as he actually, I believe, pulls a double switch. No, he goes for Endeavor. So he does go for Endeavor against me. Now, right here, I could have gone for the T-Bolt, but I decided I would go for the Flash Cannon instead. I believe it was in case he wanted to switch out into Landorus or anything like that, just so I could get off a good amount of damage on him. And if he goes into a Scavalier, I'm not too worried at all, because while he does have the Drill Run, and I know he's going to have the Drill Run, I have a cheeky move up my sleeve called Magnet Rise. Now, Magnet Rise is probably pretty predictable in this match, just because Scavalier, the thing I want to trap, does have access to a ground type move, which could OHKO me. Turns out he does not predict it, though, just goes for Drill Run. And then I have T-Bolt. I don't have HP Fire. I have T-Bolt to fire off against this thing. Now, he goes for Knockoff. It does 45 damage against me. It is a roll if he can kill me right here, and I can 2-hit KO him. So I'm thinking odds are in my favor. I can do it. Come on. Come on, Magneton. The crowd, you can do it. And it goes down. So Magneton goes down right there. Unfortunate because it was a roll, but a roll goes two ways. It could have been bad for him or good for him, or bad for me or good for me. There's always one person that receives negatively and gets a positive roll. So right here, decide to go for the Reflect type against him, just because I know I could wall this thing into the ground. He goes for Knockoff against me, which I didn't realize at the time, but that really screws me over, because now I don't have my Rocky Helmet. Now I have no way of dealing residual damage onto the likes of the Mega Lopunny as well as the Gramble. If I Reflect type it, I don't have anything to hit it anymore. He decides to go for the Mega Horn right here as I recover up, just to get a bit more HP back. And right here, he actually decides to save his Escavalier and go out into Gramble, as I do believe I fire off a Dragon Pulse. So this was a good play on his part. He does get Toxic, though. So what this tells me is that I can still stall him out with Toxic. And I know I'm not a stally player. But I know when I'm pushed into a situation when I have to. And right now, this is still anyone's game. This game is by no means determined. He goes for the Fire Punch, expecting me to want to keep my Steel typing, which is not going to happen, because I do know for a fact that he would have Fire Punch to cover for the Fortress. Poison is wearing him down little by little, and I know a player up would do a lot to me, but it wouldn't do enough to where I'd get too threatened. So I recover up, get back up to full health, and he actually goes for the Heal Bell right here, so reveals the fact that he can 1v1 this Latias under any circumstance, basically. But I got to full health, and that is what matters, that I actually got back up to full health. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to switch out, I believe, into the... I want to say Melodic. As I do go into Melodic, my other defensive Pokemon. I don't have leftovers. I take rocks, and I am asleep, though. So I can take these hits pretty well. As he actually decides to go for an Earthquake against me. Not too sure why he went for Earthquake. He does get a crit, though, which is unfortunate because what this does is it puts me in a situation where the Play Rough could potentially take me out if he hits it. And I go for Sleep Talk, and what do I get? I get Rest. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. He goes for Play Rough, and he misses. Fantastic. Great. Comeuppance. For the crit. It sucks that he missed, but yeah, he got the crit before, so I guess that's kind of a little bit of payback. But anyways, I go for Sleep Talk again. And all I can think is, please, Melodic just got Scald. He gets Dragon Tail. So the two moves I couldn't get, I got. Goes for Play Rough. He hits this time and drops me down to 3 HP. So I survive the Play Rough. And right here, I think, you know what? The rest is really obvious. And I'm not going to get anywhere just by going for Rest. So I'm going to go for Scald this turn. I decided to play very aggressively and go for Scald. And it actually pays off right here as I get a huge hit off on the Reuniclus. I'm looking at the damage and I'm like, it doesn't look like it'll kill. So I'm going to go for Rest. Because I outspeed him, so I outspeed with Sleep Talk. So no matter what, I'm going to be able to get off a Scald or a Dragon Tail on this thing. In case he wants to Energy Ball me. Turns out he goes for the Psyshock right here. And I'm able to recover all my health back. And then the Psyshock is going to be doing fucking diddly squat to me. If I had leftovers, that'd be great. But I got knocked off kind of stupidly. Kind of forgetting that leftovers for me was a big thing. Go for Sleep Talk right here, though, and I get the Scald. I was really hoping I'd get the Dragon Tail, but this has a potential to KO it now. I was hoping I got the Dragon Tail so I wouldn't take an Endeavor, but that is what happens. I do take Endeavor right there, and that is just unfortunate. I'm down to 10 HP as Blobby goes down, so now I just need to think to myself, what does Melodic do for my team now? We just took out the Reuniclus. That's great. He goes into Landorus, and I'm thinking to myself, does Melodic do anything for me anymore? And the answer is no. It's too low of health. It's asleep. Can't even switch it on rocks. It doesn't do anything. So I decide that I thought he would Earthquake there, but he actually U-turns out, which is better for me because now I get to see what he wants to go into. So I could switch into the thing that can better deal with it. So he decides to go into a Scavalier, kind of as a death fodder, I'm guessing, and I decide to go out into Tarzan right here. Now, this is where the game is really coming down to a close. We each have 3 Pokemon left, I think. I think he has 4. Now he has 3. I just go for Vacuum Wave. Don't want to go for the Fiery Blast and miss. Don't want to go for Grass Knot because it won't kill. Vacuum Wave has a guaranteed 100% chance to kill right there. As well as it does reveal that I do have the Vacuum Wave, though. He goes into Mega Lopunny. I know he's going to Fake Out or do something along those lines. So what I decide to do is, of course, I just decide to switch right out of there into my Latias. He can take some more toxic damage. That's great. That's what I want him to do. Don't have Rocky Helmet. That's unfortunate, but that's what happens. He goes for the Fake Out right here. And now this, guys, is where plays are made. And I know for a fact that John might just stay in and click return right here. I know for a fact. But I also know for a fact that this Gramble's going to beat me 1v1. So I pull a double switch out of my Latias, and I go into Infernape. And honestly, I feel like this double switch really changed the game for me, as I can now fire off a free Fire Blast against his remaining 3 Pokemon on his team. I am in Blaze range. Nothing is surviving this, and he has to pick something to sack off. So because of that double switch, I'm able to pick up another KO against his team. And overall, I'm very happy with how that play turned out. I don't think it could have turned out into a better way. I did predict him to go out into Granbull right there. And I was deciding over that play until it was about 10 seconds down on the timer. And I did not know what to do. I was thinking, is it too risky? If I lose my Infernape, I lose the game. I know that for a fact. Didn't end up doing that with Infernape. But anyway, he goes into Mega Lopunny. I want to save. I have one more switch in onto Stealth Rocks with my Infernape, and I need that switch for the Gramble. I decided to go out into my Latias, and he goes for a Quick Attack. Now, I don't agree with this play, although it didn't matter because it did the same amount of damage as the Fake Out. The Quick Attack revealed that he had it, And that reveals that my Vacuum Wave on my Infernape isn't going to be able to take him out from this range, because he's just going to outspeed me and go for Quick Attack. So overall, I feel he should have just gone for a Fake Out right there, because it could have lured me into the belief that I could kill him with Infernape, which is not the case. Now, right here, I go into Kaguya, which is my Gardevoir, my Choice Scarf Gardevoir, finally making an appearance again at the end of the match. Trace the Scrappy, because it really matters. And I'm just going to fire off a Moonblast. I am Choice Scarf. I know I can outspeed this thing. And we're going to see how much does to Gramble. The game is decided on the damage I do to Gramble right here. If he's AV, he might be able to take 2. If he can't take 2, I believe that is GG in my favor. And from that damage, he is not taking 2 of those. Now, the double switch with Infernape could have the double switch with my Infernape. The reason I think it was such a big play is because if he went into Granbull against my Latias, I had to sack something off. Nothing could survive a hit from this thing, and I would have to sack something off and then go into Infernape. And then what would have happened was I would go into Infernape, he would go into Landorus after me using my Latias. I would Fire Blast that, he would then go into Mega Lopunny, I would have to sack it off, and then I would have to take a combination of a Fake Out or a Quick Attack to take him out. And I don't believe I could have taken a Fake Out Quick Attack combination with rocks hitting me, I think, 2-3 times already. But anyways, he decides to go for the return on my switch into Infernape as I sack off Infernape. Don't want to have to take a Fake Out. Don't have to take a Quick Attack as well. Go back into my Gardevoir, which is, of course, a Choice Scarf set. I got a little scared right here because I thought, what if he's Jolly? What if he's actually Jolly and just ran max speed? But that's not the case. That's not what he did. He ran Adamant, and we are going to pull a very close 1-0 victory over the New Orleans Pelippers. John, a.k.a. Pokemon John. Bro, that was such a close game. That came down to if that double switch worked out for me or not. And I had to make the play there because I do not think I could have won the game without it. And it worked out for me in the end. So, anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. No, it was a longer battle. This battle, it was stressful every single turn. I was taking a lot of time for it, and I know he was too. He didn't bring the team I expected him to bring, which could have helped me, but also kind of screwed me over because I did not have anything for that Granbull. That Granbull caused me so many problems, but in the end, my Gardevoir and my Infernape were able to basically single-handedly destroy the team, which is great, with, of course, assistance from Toxic Spikes from my Mega Beedrill. But anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. I don't remember who we're taking on next week. It might be Tom. I think Lord Envy's week 4. That's an important match. But anyways, guys, we are now 2-0 with a +5 differential, going 4-0 and 1-0 in the first 2 weeks. So we're starting off the season good. I would not have wanted to start off any other way, especially against John. I never expect to win against John. I always expect a very close game, and last season it came down to Natural Gift on my regular Scizor versus Mega Scizor to see who won. And this game it came down to, do I have the balls to make a double switch when I knew the double switch would clinch me the game if I didn't miss a Fire Blast? Or would he predict my double switch? Is it too risky, etc., etc.? So, as I tried to close the video like 3 times already, now I'm going to do it. Guys, this is the end of the video, so if you did enjoy, I'd really appreciate it. Comment, like, rate, and subscribe. Please go check out John's channel. He's a fantastic PokeTuber if you do not know him. And anyways, guys, I am the coach of your San Francisco Arcaniners, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out.